Yer, what is good, Regis recipients? How are y'all doing today? Let me know in the comment section. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Regis Reflections. You already know each and every episode we have a different athlete on this podcast. And this week on this episode, we have my dog, JJ. Say what's up to people, JJ.
What's happening? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. How are you doing today? How is your mental on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, doing pretty well. I'd say I'm right around an eight, my
Ah,
favorite number. So
oh, that's good. That's good.
yeah, doing well. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. The week is off to a great start. Glad to be back from spring break. The weather though is kind of shocking in a sense,
Yeah,
like
no
March and
kidding.
it's so windy and
Yeah.
snowing.
Yeah,
So
and they do like a little teaser week in like February where it's like 65 and then come back from wherever you are where it's warm and then it's like, oh, great.
exactly, it's a
So
good trade. Exactly. So
yeah.
Regis Sabine's JJ here is on the Notre Dame men's hockey team. So JJ, what position do you play on the hockey team?
Yeah, so I'm a forward, specifically left wing. Been that way
Mm,
my whole life. So
Since the
um
beginning. Would you say that's one of the harder positions in hockey, or would it be a different position in your opinion?
honestly pretty debatable. I think a lot of people would say that goalie's pretty hard, just
Mm.
puck coming at you at 100 miles an hour. But yeah, scoring's hard. Scoring's really hard in hockey, so that's kind of my goal every game. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty hard, but I don't know what the community would
Okay,
say.
okay.
So
So you're originally, I'm correct, you're from Minnesota, correct?
yeah, yep. So I'm from Maple Grove, Minnesota.
So
Um,
would you say hockey is very popular out there?
yeah, hockey's yeah. I mean, it's the state of hockey. So high school hockey specifically is pretty cool. It's honestly like pretty equal to football, I would say, in a lot of places. So Um, growing up, yeah, a lot of my buddies in high school played hockey. Kind of that was my friend group. So
Mm.
I guess maybe I'm a little biased, but my whole life I was surrounded by hockey. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
So whom or what got you starting playing hockey, and what age did you start playing hockey as well?
yeah. So I started on my backyard rink around like
Mm.
3,
Oh, okay.
so pretty early. Yeah, my dad actually played here for Notre Dame, so I grew up singing the fight song with him and dreaming about playing here one day. So definitely give him the credit for that. But also my older brother played hockey as well, so or he plays here
Mm.
now. So kind of following in their footsteps, and it's always been hockey since day one.
Oh,
So
it's Alexis
yeah,
Galen. So similar. So you know how in basketball and like you have AAU and football, maybe 7v7. Do you have that kind of sense? Do you have that for hockey, travel, or like an AAU team?
yeah. Growing up, it was always like you play for your city in the winter, and then in the summer you play for like a travel team.
Mhm.
Um, that's just specifically in Minnesota. I think a lot of other states just have the travel team. But in the summer we would play with guys all over the state against really the whole country. So that was all the way up until ninth grade, and then it kind of flipped for me. So
So once you got to high school, how was kind of your hockey experience
mhm.
and kind of playing throughout?
Yeah. So my ninth grade year, I had a really good year. I played high school as a freshman, and then from there, I was able to play for Team USA for 2 years.
Oh.
So I moved away to Michigan and did that. So that was crazy. And then I actually did high school in 3 years and accelerated and then came in here technically as a senior in high school. So it was kind of a whirlwind, but um, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I went from like a little or a big fish in a little pond to playing for Team USA where like everybody's really good and you're playing against a lot older competition and you struggle and go through a lot of adversity, but I think I grew a lot from that. And specifically like living away from home was pretty tough at times. So um yeah, dealt with a lot through that, but overall like I don't regret it for a second, and I think it definitely shaped me into the person I'm today. So
Wow, that's shocking. So you in high school and you left to go play for USA. You left your hometown, your city, all your buddies and,
yeah.
and your family to go play for Team USA. And now, you were probably the best in your area. Now you were all these bunch of other guys
hmm
who are at their best themselves. So how did you kind of handle that mentally of you not the only one who's probably the best and being away from all your friends and
hmm
family and home?
yeah, like you said, the like initially I made a lot of phone calls and had to break some hearts, I guess, when I was leaving.
Mm,
So it was really hard, like, and it was not easy at all. I mean, it gets really lonely at times when you're away, but um I think having like built-in friends through my team was definitely helpful. And I know everyone doesn't have that luxury, but um I think just relying on them and being open. I mean, I struggle still to this day to voice how I feel and like show my emotions at times. And I think when I get down, I just kind of close myself off to everyone. And moving away was not easy. Like hockey was hard. Um, Everything really was hard. Like it was during COVID as well. So um, we had a lot of changes throughout everything, and nothing was really set in stone. So um, yeah, it was challenging. Went through a lot of adversity. I mean, but yeah, I think just taking it one day at a time and um, just kind of relying on my teammates and my friends and my brother and dad and mom, and they all help me so much. And I think when you do talk to someone, it always helps you, and you always feel better after it. And I know it's really hard, and but being vulnerable like really helped me a lot. So I mean, I wasn't great at it. I think that
mm,
was the first time I'd ever had to be vulnerable or anything and voice that I'm struggling, because everything was golden up until that point. So yeah, it wasn't easy, but something that I learned from for sure. So
mm. So speaking on that vulnerability, I know as an athlete, sometimes you're seeing that you can be vulnerable, or even just as a man in this generation, not being open. So what kind of pushed you, or kind of, and you told you that, that you need to speak up and speak out? Was it someone, or did you just talk to yourself saying, I need to tell someone what's going on?
yeah, honestly, it wasn't really anyone else. I think just out of nature, like I felt like I had to. I felt like I needed to. Um, at times, just
Mm,
talk to someone, and usually it was a teammate or a friend from back home. Like you don't even need to talk about your struggles, just talking to someone new or coming to Notre Dame, like getting outside of my team has been really helpful and something that I'm very thankful I did. It took me a while, but I spend so much time with the same people that um in the same way too, not really like on a deep level at times. So getting those conversations and getting deeper with someone and getting to know someone better, or even talking about your struggles and being vulnerable, like really changed my life. And I've met so many people here since I started doing that. That's really like helped me a lot. So
mm.
I mean, people will surprise you too with shared experiences, and so yeah, it's been good.
Wow. So I know you said, you mentioned that your father and your brother both played hockey and both play here in Notre Dame. So kind of growing up and seeing them and what they kind of experienced and went through, did you kind of lean on them for advice, and did they help you in any way throughout your journey? And if so, how?
Yeah, no, they helped me a ton. I think I've had everything lined up in my life. I mean, I've followed my brother through basically everything. We've had a very similar journey to get to this point. So, obviously, like I said, growing up, my dad played here, so we grew up singing the fight song and dreaming about playing here. We went to camps here growing up, and from the second he committed here when he was like 16 or something, I knew like I was gonna end up here with him. Like that was just it was bound to happen. So so he committed here, and then he also played at the USA team. We lived with the same billet family. So he's honestly like paved the path, and I've kind of just followed along. But I would say that also comes with a little bit of struggles too sometimes, with feeling like I'm a little bit overshadowed. And it's something that's motivated me a lot. I would say I've turned it into motivation,
Mm,
um, kind of just trying to one up him with everything, and I've kind of made that like my lifelong goal, just to surpass him and beat him at everything. But he does set a really good like model for me, and it's kind of he sets the standard, and I just try and beat him as the best I can. Is kind of how I would describe our relationship. But um outside of like hockey, he's definitely been a huge mentor for me. Um, and he's like he's one of the reasons that I'm a part of the Notre Dame Irish Strong. We started an athlete mentorship program, so it's
mm,
it's basically just older athletes getting paired up with a younger athlete that they Notre Dame athlete that they share a connection with somehow. Like we did a little survey and paired people up. And I mean, he's honestly the reason I was so interested in that is because he has been such a big mentor for me, and I've learned so much from him, and just through in school, life, people, like relationships, hockey, everything. So, um, that was a big reason for that, and it's kind of what I wish for that program. So, yeah,
That's good. That's good. Pops, always there, always gonna be there for you.
yeah, yeah,
So, you said that in high school you did high school in 3 years. You played with the USA team, and now you're here at the University of Notre Dame playing on the hockey team. What was that transition like, going from high school and playing the USA team to now being here at Notre Dame?
yeah. It was tough. I mean, even at the USA team, I did have some pretty good success, and then Um, coming here, it was a grind. I mean, my first year here, hockey wise, I was just trying to survive. Like, um, I didn't feel like I was fully myself too. I mean, I went from, my team was all my age to coming here, and I was on a line with a 25-year-old. So, and I was like 18. So it was tough. I didn't really feel like I fit in my first year here. Basically until around until April my freshman year. So yeah, it was tough. I didn't really connect with a lot of the guys on my team as much as I wish I would have. But then I guess one thing that helped, like I mentioned earlier, was after the season, kind of spending more time with people outside of my team and just like regular students, my roommate, a lot of his buddies, and really bonding with them. And I felt like more myself. And I met a lot more people that way than I ever would have just sticking with my team. I think that's something that we don't do a great job of,
Mm,
is getting outside the team and meeting more people. So, um, yeah, but hockey wise, it was tough. I didn't really have a good freshman year. Um, Dealt with some sickness and a couple other things, but um, I played a lot, but didn't really produce or do as well as I wanted to, and was kind of stuck on the fourth line. But um, yeah, I mean, I think I grew a lot that year, like internally and personally, and kind of realized what I got myself into, and I was still living the dream, and I was chasing it, and
mm,
I think since then I've gotten a lot better and grown a lot. So, but yeah, it was tough trying to fit in and trying to figure out my identity. Growing up, I was always like one of the funny guys. Like everyone was always looking up to me, trying to like relate to me. And now I was kind of the younger guy, just trying to fit in and relate to these older guys with their maturity levels. And it was tough. So yeah, but I think it's gotten a lot better now, and I've tried to help the younger guys when they come in and kind of relate to them a little bit better than it was for when I was here. So
So to
yeah.
try and relate to the older guys, that's when you would take do during the off season, try and connect with them and kind of hang out with them in a sense. Like how were you able to connect with the older guys while being so young?
Yeah, I mean, you spend so much time with them every day that you're automatically like pretty tight with them, but they all kind of lived off campus. We had a my class and it was basically it on campus. Um, so they spent a lot more time together. It was like it was fine, but I guess what I would say it was just kind of like surface level relationships, and that's not exactly what I was looking for. Like I wanted to be tight with these guys, and it took a while to get there, but like we did, and that year we went on a pretty good run at the end of the year, so
Mm,
we got pretty close, and some of those guys I still talk to today,
mm,
even the older ones. So um, yeah, I mean it just kind of took a little bit of time, but it kind of turned to like me reaching out to them more than they did to me.
mm,
So
Okay,
yeah,
so I know you said so you when you came to Notre Dame, you were 18 years old. And now you're 18 years old, young adult, really, and in college, and you're going lining up against 25-year-old and probably older
hmm
grown men. How did you just like physically and mentally just handle that?
yeah,
Just being, high school USA now, you're just
hmm
fully grown, you're going against a fully grown man. How did you handle
yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean, growing up, I kind of feel like I prepared myself for that. I mean, I always was younger, playing against older competition, and the USA team prepares you for that really well. Like we were playing against college teams the year before I came in here, so I was used to the older, bigger, stronger guys, but I guess mentally it was more so like not having success and not playing as much. and even just like not fitting in that kind of got to me,
Mhm.
and just feeling really lonely at times and trying to find my like why and find where I fit in on the team and where I think I'm gonna go in the future and answer those kind of question marks was more so what I was struggling with. Um, but yeah, I think physically, like I can compete with those guys. I kind of was confident in myself in that regard. I think they do a great job preparing us off ice here, just in the gym and stuff. So um, yeah, but mentally sometimes it was lonely for
Mhm.
sure. So
So sorry. So when you said you were trying to find your identity throughout the freshman year and find out your why, how did you find out your why and identity
mhm.
for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of asking myself like, what do I want to get out of my program here and or like out of Notre Dame? How can I leave my legacy? Like, um, I was kind of stuck in this ritual of just going to the rink, going back home, doing school, and like not really enjoying it as much as I should be. And I think I was surrounded by people that don't really um, put as much effort as they should in school or as I would like to and don't value it as much. So um, just kind of like being myself and learning that I care about that and I want to get the most out of this university and I want to do extra stuff. I want to spend time at night like going to meetings and going to see people outside of my team and setting up like programs like the mentorship program or the injury support groups and doing extra stuff like that. I like respect people that do that. And I was surrounded early on by maybe like people that weren't really interested in that. So, um, yeah, just kind of like not really caring about what other people think and doing what I want to do and spending more time on campus or like at stuff that other people aren't at or doing my own things kind of been helpful. And I've met a lot of people outside of that that have helped me. So
Mm.
I don't know if that was kind of
That's
confusing to follow, but
that's good. That's good.
yeah.
So you're a junior here currently at the University of Notre Dame. You've been on the hockey team for about 3 years. Say, has there ever been probably a certain game or practice where it just wasn't your way or you weren't yourself mentally or physically? And if so, how were you able to pull yourself out of that?
Yeah, there's been many times where I just feel like hopeless and like my career's gonna die here. And I think as a hockey player, I value my like my identity or myself a lot on based on my performance in hockey. I think to a fault at a lot of times. So the lows can be really low and the highs can be really high. That's something that a lot of my teammates do and a lot of people struggle with. Like if you score, you feel like you're on the top of the world for that next week, or if we win. And then if we lose and you don't score and you play bad or give up a goal, like you feel like everything's gonna end. So um, yeah, there was times where it was really tough. I would say I can think of like three or four. Um, I mean early on in my freshman year, I had a ankle surgery in the summer, and I was coming in as a freshman battling that, just trying to practice and every practice all I could think about was my ankle while I was trying to make a good first impression and earn respect on the team and it didn't go well, and then a couple weeks later, I got the flu, and then that turned into missing like 2 weeks. So that was a grind, some adversity, but I think just being consistent and working with the coaches and just trying to take it day by day and earn like a little bit of confidence every day, taking one step. And if you put in the work throughout the week and you feel like you have a good week, oftentimes, you're going to perform better on the weekend and taking care of my body, taking care of schoolwork ahead of time, just kind of having better consistent habits like
Mm,
sleep and everything. And I think it just puts you in such a better mental headspace for the week. And then you're way more locked in and way more focused throughout. And so that was not me freshman year. I can tell you that much. I was staying up till 3 a.m. studying for tests and grinding last minute, procrastinating every single assignment. So I was battling for sure, and I think I didn't find that really until this year. A
mm,
little bit more consistency and a little bit of working ahead of schedule and being more planned out so I could be more consistent. And yeah, I think I took a step this year hockey wise just because of it. So um, Yeah, but it was tough. So
Mm,
I
mm.
yeah.
So back going on that school kind of route, you and I both know Notre Dame is an academic rigorous school, very tough. But on top of that, you're a D1 athlete here as well. So I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but could you go a little more in depth? How do you balance being
Yeah.
on the hockey team and being at such an academic rigorous
hmm
school in Notre Dame?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, it was not easy. I still am not good at it. I mean, I know a lot
Me
of
too.
people that are better than me at managing time, but um I think yeah, the biggest thing I could say is like finding good habits and valuing sleep. Um and making like I started planning out my life like 2 months in advance, and
Mm.
every semester I write down all my assignments in a thing online. My girlfriend helps me with that, so shout out her. But I think being at like ahead of schedule and looking 2 weeks in advance is very helpful. That being said, I think I live one day at a time oftentimes, and I don't worry too much about what's 2 weeks in advance. I try to stay on top of things, but just not letting it like stress me out so much, I think is something I'm good at. And compartmentalizing my life is one thing I would say is like very important. I think like when you're at the rink, you're at the rink, not letting the rink affect school. When you're at school, you're thinking about school, not letting other things affect your school. And then when you leave the rink, like valuing your relationships with who you're hanging out, living in the moment, um, and taking care of schoolwork ahead of time is the biggest thing I've learned. I mean, everybody here, I think that's one of Notre Dame's like biggest takeaways is just teaching people how to work ahead of schedule and manage their
Sure.
time. So,
Time management.
um, yeah, I don't know. I think compartmentalizing my life has been a big thing at Notre Dame that Notre Dame's taught me and being so busy. But along with that, I think I joined SAC, which is the Notre Dame Student Athlete Advisory Council, and that's added more to my life. So more meetings and more scheduling and stuff, but that's actually helped me a lot too to manage my time. And I'm getting used to spending 12 hours on campus every day before I get home. So um, it's busy. I can't imagine when I'm in the summer, like
Mhm.
having days off and then like picturing myself back at school, spending 9 to 9 at on campus, like grinding. But days go by quick, but I mean, I love it. I have so much fun here and meet so many awesome people. So do amazing things, and it's provided a lot of opportunities and it's changed my life. So yeah,
That's good.
but
So, as a D1 athlete, you're gonna have to travel to other colleges to play these games and everything like that. And as a non Notre Dame athlete, and for Regis recipients, people think when you travel to these other states across the globe or across the country, it's all fun and games. You get to tour the city and the hotel room is all fun, like AAU days. But a lot of people don't know that it's a business trip.
mhm.
So could you just talk a little bit about the traveling aspect, the traveling with the hockey team, just overnight traveling and probably even having work or assignments due as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I'm doing work on the road. So so we're a little bit different. Hockey, the schedule is pretty consistent. So I know a lot of other sports have like weekday games and such, but we play Friday, Saturday, basically every week throughout the year. Our season goes from beginning like October 1st to now around April usually. So hopefully if we have a good year, it'll go till April. So it's a long season, and throughout that all we have like 2 or 3 bye weeks where we don't play, but then the rest of those weeks we're playing, and often of those weekends we're traveling Thursday through Sunday on the road. So we leave Thursday morning, miss class Thursday and Friday, and then we get there Thursday, practice, have a lot of meetings throughout the day, and game days are really, really full. It would surprise a lot of people, but we usually pregame skate, or even if we're not pregame skating, it's um, a lot of like busyness. So I think I've tried to every week handle my schoolwork before Wednesday, but obviously that's not really possible at this school. So there's often times where I'm grinding on the bus on the way there, um, trying to get my work done, or you got to schedule group meetings in advance so you're on top of things. But yeah, then on the other end of that, after the game, Saturday night, we always are driving or flying back home. So most often getting back at 3 or 4 a.m. not getting in bed until then. So, um, yeah, it's tough. I think Sunday's a big day of recovery usually for me. It's when I get my most schoolwork done. Um, but yeah, it's not fun. I mean, sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's awesome, but going back to earlier, like imagine you have a really tough weekend of hockey and then you get on the bus for a 6 hour bus ride, get back at 4 a.m., and then you have a group meeting at 11 the next morning and a full day of school after that. So it's not fun sometimes. There's highs and lows to it all, but um, just taking it day by day. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess another thing too, I've been to Russia twice for hockey. So that's a
Uh,
fun fact, but that
How,
was crazy travel too. It's like a 2 day trip to get there. But that was back when I was playing for USA. So that
mm,
was a little bit more of a tourist experience. We kind of got out a little bit, but
mm,
um, not, yeah, not a
not
lot.
full.
So
Oh wow,
yeah.
that traveling aspect is really crazy. Wow.
Mhm.
So for you personally, in the future, do you want to continue with hockey and possibly go to the NHL? Because I know you got drafted by the Seattle,
Mhm.
correct? The I forgot the
Yeah, the
Seattle.
Kraken. Yep.
Correct. So is that a possibility that you want to continue with that after college, going to NHL?
Yeah, that's the goal. That's definitely the goal. It's something I've always dreamed of, and seeing my teammates reach that goal has been really cool. I'm so jealous. So every day that's in the back of my mind. That's what I want to do. So yeah, I mean, hopefully have a really good year next year, and make my way there eventually. But obviously, the idea of coming to Notre Dame was you get the best of both worlds. So,
That's true.
um, really great hockey program, but obviously the networking in the school is going to set you up. So, it's a great backup plan, I guess, as you could call it. But I would call it more two plan A's. So,
Mm, mm,
um, but yeah, no, I was drafted by Seattle before I got here, so the NHL draft is a little bit different. It's really early compared to other drafts. So, for most prospects that get drafted, it's like 3 or 4 years until you actually sign with the team. So,
mm.
um, yeah, other than like maybe the first 10 picks. So, um, yeah, so that is hopefully my goal. I would love to reach that level. So,
Well, I
yeah,
hope you do. I'm praying for you, praying for you.
yeah.
So,
Thank you.
one final question before we wrap things up, JJ. What advice would you give to listeners and viewers out there on their mental health journey?
Yeah. I mean, I know times can be really hard. I've gone through a lot, and I know it's cliche, but like being vulnerable and reaching out to anyone around you, you'd be surprised how much people want to talk. I think I've gotten involved this year as the co-lead on Irish Strong, which is the Notre Dame mental health like aspect of the student athlete population. And um, I've been shocked with how many people reach out looking for opportunities to help people and to be there for people. And it's been really eye-opening for me. I mean, I struggle to be vulnerable and talk about my emotions around my friends. And it's really taken me a long time to get outside my comfort zone. The people that I'm closest with now are not my like direct teammates. Like I don't really talk to them about my emotions. It's taken me a lot to get outside that. But yeah, then another thing too, I would reach out to all the athletes here at Notre Dame or anywhere really just to get outside your team and spend time with your roommate or your non-athlete buddies, because like it takes you reaching out to them. Sometimes as an athlete you can kind of be intimidating to other people, which is I hate that a lot. But I definitely experienced that my freshman year. It took a while for me to like reach out to them and try to hang out with them more before they kind of were reaching back out to me, and they all loved it. And those are some of my closest buddies here, and some of the most fun I've had has been with them. So, um, yeah, those two pieces, and then just learning to manage time has been something that I struggle with a lot, and I know everybody does, but um, just trying to be consistent with your habits and take care of your body as best you can has helped me. So,
That's true. Consistency is key. Consistency. Thank you,
yeah,
JJ. So, well, Regis recipients, you heard it from my dog, JJ. JJ, thank you again for being on this episode of Regis Reflections. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Regis recipients, thank you for tuning into this episode of Regis Reflections. It's okay to not be okay. Remember that.
Amen.
Man, it's your
Yeah.
boy JD. I'm out.
Let's go.